It all started with a sudden spike in suspected narco-trafficking boat incidents across the Caribbean. What began as small warnings quickly escalated into one of the largest U.S. military buildups in the region in decades. Within days, the United States deployed multiple aircraft carrier groups, special operations units, and even CIA operatives reportedly landed in Caracas. The Caribbean, especially Venezuela, was suddenly under U.S. pressure not seen since Operation Uphold Democracy. And according to the White House, the reason behind this rapid escalation is clear: narco-terrorism. But the U.S. likely sees both an economic and a geopolitical opportunity here. And the explanation is actually pretty simple. Before we go deeper, a quick question. Do you know who the biggest trading partner and largest investor across Latin America is today? It's China. Since 2007, China has loaned Venezuela over $60 billion, funding long-term oil partnerships, railway development, and major port infrastructure. Venezuela has effectively become China's strategic doorway into Latin America, and the results are unmistakable. Massive Belt and Road expansion, lithium deals for EV manufacturing, free trade agreements across half of Latin America, a $9 billion line of credit, and steadily growing political influence. But the most critical partner in this region is Brazil, a core BRICS member, the same group Donald Trump has accused of trying to undermine the US dollar. So when you put all of this together, it becomes clear: China and Russia's expanding footprint in Latin America directly challenges long-standing American interests. But why is Venezuela at the center of all this pressure? The first reason is oil. More than any recent U.S. president, Donald Trump views foreign policy through the lens of securing vital natural resources, from Ukraine's critical minerals to the idea of acquiring Greenland for its underground reserves, to a major shift back toward fossil fuels. The second reason is political. The United States does not recognize the current Venezuelan government, and the country itself is crippled by a deep domestic crisis, from economic collapse to political instability. A transition from socialist governance to a more market-driven, capitalist system aligns perfectly with the old Monroe Doctrine, which has shaped U.S. strategy in the Western Hemisphere for nearly 200 years. For a moment in recent years, it seemed like the world was finally moving past oil-driven conflicts. But with fossil fuels still supplying nearly 80% of global energy, it shouldn't be surprising that oil and gas continue to drive geopolitical tensions, including this one. So what happens next? But right now, the U.S. buildup in the Caribbean is intended to project pressure, not start a full-scale intervention. Washington wants leverage, not a war, at least for now. But with Venezuela caught between U.S. pressure, Chinese loans, Russian backing, and its own internal crisis, the situation remains incredibly volatile. Whether this leads to negotiations, political change, or something far more dangerous will depend entirely on what each side does next. One thing is clear: this region is no longer a quiet corner of the world, and the stakes for the US, China, and Venezuela are only getting higher. What do you think happens next? Let me know in the comments, and I'll break down the next developments in upcoming videos.